Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. Guess what time it is? It is Venus in retrograde. Okay, so this is going to be a good one today because this will definitely be focusing on our relationships, our romantic relationships, family, friendships, whatever relationships that we deem important in our lives is going to be having an effect on it. Okay, so we're going to start off with the obvious one. And when we're dealing with Venus in retrograde, we're dealing with our most intimate one on one love relationships. And for some of you, your guys may go through it. When we're in a relationship with someone, we may decide, hey, maybe this relationship isn't for me. We spend our time reevaluating and reassessing our values, our needs. Are they being met in our current relationships? What needs to be reevaluated and reassessed? Basically, you're going to be seeing where you're at. Am I happy? This relationship in the beginning seemed so great, but now seeing a lot of cracks in it. Can I maintain being happy in this relationship? Do I want someone new? Do I just want to be single? Again, there's been this real theme of relationships lately in astrology. And I remember saying this last week too about, hey, do I want to be where I am at now with my current partner? For also, it's not all bad because some of you may be wanting to renew your wedding vows or just be thankful and having a lot of gratitude and appreciation for the person you're with. You may go, I'm really lucky. After looking back on all these years, I still am attracted to my partner. I still love them. I can't see my life, with anyone else. So some of you will be reevaluating things, but in a good, positive way, where others of you may find your relationships a little bit on the struggle bus. Like, where are we going? Where are we headed? Is this something I want, going forward? Others of you may have people coming back from your past, coming out of the woodwork, hearing from people again that you haven't heard from in a long time. And that doesn't mean it's always exes. It can be an old friend from high school or public school or someone you used to talk to online. Like this has been the case for me. Someone reached out to me a couple days ago, and I haven't heard from this person like years. And in this particular case, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I haven't heard from that person, and hey, how you doing? But that's all it was. And others of you might be a little more shook when that ex calls them back, or they come back after ghosting you for a couple of months. Or that ex that calls you up that really, really hurt you and may want you back or want to meet up or hook up again. Now, and this is a scenario for some of you, I would really advise to reevaluate your choices and decisions, and do understand that during a Venus retrograde, most relationships that reform again tend not to still make it, but others will, though, because it depends on the issues. Because like I said, it's all about reevaluating and reassessing everything. So some people might not get that closure that they've been seeking, and other people will. And again, it depends on your specific dynamic, but there will be, it's almost like a spotlight, like Venus in retrograde puts on our relationships, a big one. And for those of you, again, who are not the happiest in your relationships, are going to be questioning them. And those of you who are grateful and happy are going to be so grateful and be thanking your lucky stars that you met the person that you're with. Now, interestingly enough, in the sky right now, the current transits, Venus is squaring Uranus. It's also making some aspects to Pluto and Neptune. So I'm just going to give you an overall synopsis of how all of that can play out. Venus square Uranus is what we call a breakup transit. So we may be hearing about breakups, even in the media. Like there's couples like Ariana Grande, for instance, is getting divorced from her husband, and Sofia Vergara is getting separated and divorced from her husband. But we hear about celebrity breakups all the time. It's not a biggie small, but this is what Venus square Uranus can bring. It can shake up our relationships. And for those of you who are in a current relationship, all Uranus is going to do is shake things up. So if there's been any pressure, Uranus is going to bring them to the forefront. People are not going to, some people may just desire to break up and be free and be on their own. With this transit, like I can't do this anymore. I need to be on my own. I need to be my own individual in relationships. Financially, what this can do is make our money, our businesses, our livelihoods a little unstable right now. So when it comes to our finances and our personal possessions and our values, everything could come into question right now and be a little unstable. Some of you will need this Uranian energy to help get you out of maybe some bad relationships or situationships. And Uranus like, I can't do it anymore. And others of you are going to be very upset, obviously, because some of you may not want to break up, but your other partner may desire some freedom and not want to commit. So with Venus retrograde and with Venus making this square to Uranus, for those of you, who are single, might find it a little hard to get into a committed relationship as much as you may want to. It might not be the best of times because you may be running into people who are very non-committal. The other effect of Venus square Uranus is fights, arguments, disagreements, just a general sense of discordance can happen in our relationships where we go kaboom. Your partner might drive you insane right now. And you mean like, I'm out of here. I can't stand this. I can't believe they did that. So it's a volatile transit. And then we have Pluto, which can bring on power and control issues. One partner may be over dominant than the other one and may want more attention because think about everything is in Leo right now. So with the Pluto thing, again, people may want to break out and people may not want to be controlled or dominated anymore. Some of you will be feeling your feelings extremely intensely too because of that Pluto as well. And then you add in Neptune to the mix. And some of you, to be honest, may be sweeping some problems under the rug, wanting to avoid any conflict, wanting to pretend the problems don't exist when they actually do, turning the other way, if you will. Neptune puts those glasses on. So some of you may purposely be avoiding rocking the boat because maybe some of you have been going through a rough time lately. And even though things are bothering you and you can't put up with it, some of you may choose to do, the lesser two evil, go, I just can't. I don't have the energy, the bandwidth to argue with this. I'm just going to sweep things under the rug. Maybe things will just work themselves out. So some of you may be doing a lot of fooling yourselves about your relationships and being in denial and not really wanting to face the truth of your relationships and opting to kind of look the other way and sweep things under the rug and telling yourselves you'll deal with the problem at another time at a later date. But what's going to end up happening is all the same issues are going to prop up and keep cropping up for you over and over and over again. All right. The other thing that Venus in retrograde can bring is issues with cosmetics, okay, or our beauty. So it's often said it's not a good time to have any cosmetic surgery done or any cosmetic procedures done. If any of you are also thinking about dyeing your hair or getting a new haircut or a new hairdo, it might be best to pump the brakes and delay that because the tendency is, say, for instance, we want to dye our hair. We go to Shoppers or our local drugstore, we buy a box dye. Our hair might have a bad reaction to it. It might not turn out the way we like. We might not like the results of our hair. Okay. Others of you on the more extreme end might even deal with some reactions, allergic reactions to things. So it's really a good time to, you know what, instead of dyeing your whole hair, why don't you do a patch just to see how it will turn out? If you're looking to buy that new wardrobe, I don't know. You know, if you order from Shein or Wish or anything, normally things that were good quality, you might get a botched order where it doesn't fit, or the seams are ripping loose or whatever. Okay, so when it comes to beautifying things, you might want to take a little bit of a step back and wait until this energy is a little more direct before you embark on any beautifying of yourself or of your surroundings, because things, you might not like the result, things might not turn out in the way you're hoping. And again, let me bring it back to our finances and our livelihoods again. We may need to reevaluate and reassess those as well. You know what I mean? In some cases, some people might have to go back and redo some stuff, you know. For instance, a good example is taxes. Some people might have got a faulty tax return and like, oh no, that's not right. You know what I mean? I might have to go back and redo my taxes, or make a phone call and get corrections done, you know. And again, because Uranus is making this big, you know, aspect right now to Venus, again, it could bring some financial instability, and businesses too will go through a period of instability too. You might get some money and then the next day it'll be dead. Be busy, dead. Things will just be in a constant flux, okay? So Venus retrograde, there it is for everyone, all right? And for singles, again, might not be the best time to embark on a relationship right now, because it might not work out to its fullest. For those of you who have natal Venus in retrograde, you probably ain't gonna feel it too much. Same with people with Mercury in retrograde. When Mercury goes retrograde, it feels natural to them. So it's nothing but like another Tuesday. Anyway, that is my dissertation of Venus retrograde, like promised. So expect some more content from me coming up this week, when I'll probably do some oracles and do a generalized reading for you all with my cards. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.